They don't know what they're doing. The charges are not going to stick, and you're giving him more publicity. He's on Fox News every day already. I think this is great. I think this is perfect. Shout out to Chris Rabb. Shout out to the Democratic Socialists. The more Hassan does his own thing, the more we're going to hold Democrats accountable. So thank you, Fox News.
Hopefully. This is kind of a wild take. He's happy you're the martyr. I mean, he's joking. And no, it's not about martyrdom at all. It's just about more people paying attention to the things that we're talking about. Hopefully, the thing that I've seen so far is that this administration is so fast and loose with like pursuing litigation when they don't actually have the motion or any of the fundamentals to pursue any litigation whatsoever, that I haven't seen a lot of like liberal media coverage on this issue at all, because right now no one has actually received a subpoena whatsoever, except I guess now they're claiming the House Oversight is investigating it. The House Oversight Committee has opened a formal investigation into far-left streamer Hassan and the co-founders of CoPink over their March trip to Cuba billed as humanitarian aid mission. So maybe after that there'll be more coverage on it, because so far someone from CoPink did receive a subpoena. I've yet to receive one. Maybe it'll happen. A subpoena is not an indictment, to be fair. And an indictment is not criminality either. And none of this also matters at the end of the day, because there's nothing to prosecute over. Also, I don't even know if this is real or not. This is USA Today. I can't tell if there's an additional House Oversight investigation or something. The House Oversight Committee has opened a formal investigation of far-left streamer Hassan Piker and the co-founders of CoPink over their March trip to Cuba billed as humanitarian aid mission, but which prosecutors and congressional investigators now allege functions as a propaganda operation on behalf of the Cuban Communist regime in violation of U.S. sanctions law. Per the report, Piker and his fellow activists, like, guys, you do understand. There's no payment here. Like, this is just my personal opinion as an American citizen. It is directly, not only as an American citizen, but also as a member of the media that got a journalism visa. The things that I am saying about Cuba, that I have said for years about Cuba, even before I went to Cuba, are all not only totally moral, okay, but also, unfortunately for all of these people that are chirping, constitutionally protected. Like, this is not how this works. You can't just be like, because look, reduced to its bare bones, if you just like pull some of the strings that is like sloppily holding this together, everything unwinds, because the argument being presented here is, I don't like what he said about a foreign adversary, so he should be punished for it criminally. Do you understand? This guy, I mean, this just showed up on my time. All the Chud replies to this seem to think there's a bolo and a federal warrant out for Hassan's arrest. They're calling Hassan a snitch for saying this online as if he's ratting people out, but this is just publicly available information that's already been reported in the news. He's not leaking secrets, he's relaying the news. Yeah. What I don't understand, and I reposted this, I retweeted this, and I was like, the fuck are these guys talking about? Stu Smith is doing this thing where he will just like straight up take clips off of this broadcast and frame it as though it's something secret or sinister and put it through ChatGPT summarization. And unfortunately, given the way that like, especially on Twitter, how stupid people are, they literally fall for it. And I don't understand it. And then it seems very coordinated. Like, this messaging campaign seems very coordinated, because I went through like readily available information on Wikipedia about Roy Singham and like what the administration is trying to do and trying to claim for years and years. I'm on Fox News right now. I guess this is going to be the driving discourse for Fox News for the day. We'll take a look at what the fuck they're saying. But it is kind of wild that I learn about like my fate, apparently, from Fox News. Like, I feel like these guys it's gotten to a point where they're going to be like, Hassan Piker has been arrested, and I'll be streaming. I'll be like, what do you mean? I'm here. I'm live right now. And the Republican media machine is so echo chambered that they'll be like, oh, we did it. Like, we literally arrested him. He's in jail now. He's actually killed. He's murdered in prison. And they'll be doing victory laps while I'll just be streaming. But it's so flagrant and so in your face, this like very clear collusion that's taking place. It reminds me of when I got stopped for a brief moment by a cop in China at Tiananmen Square, where they were like, he got detained and arrested and he's in prison. And it was like, no, there was a 2-minute pause in the stream, and we continued the live stream the entire time. I find it very odd that these guys are just inventing alternative realities and leaning into said alternative realities. And then it's this like never ending cycle of slop and fake nonsense. So Stu Smith takes a basically almost like a Wikipedia readout summary of PSL or Roy Singham that I talked about, and he takes like only a minute and 22 seconds of it and goes, Hassan named Singham PSL answer and code pink in one breath. On stream today, Hassan Piker discussed the reported Treasury scrutiny, said the broader target is probably Singham and his operation, naming PSL and Answer Coalition code pink and anything that he's ever financed. He then acknowledged that Roy Singham lives in China, has been a funding vehicle for political moves and activism in the United States. That is exactly why this matters. This was never just about one influencer's Cuba trip. It's about the Singham-linked ecosystem, the groups it funds, the delegations it supports, and the political operations built around them. Hassan didn't even refute the network. He mapped it. That's ChatGPT. And it got fucking 2.9 million views. And literally every neo-Nazi on this goddamn website is like, oh my God, he's snitching. And then they're also saying, oh my God, how stupid. His lawyers are probably killing themselves right now. There's an active investigation taking place. And this guy's just snitching. He's turned state witness. Why didn't he even get a deal out of this? And it's like, dog, just because you're encountering this information for the first time ever doesn't mean that it's new information. Yeah, true Anon. Hassan didn't refute the network. He mapped it. That hit home, Stu. You've identified perfectly what happened here. Do you want me to further lay out a point-by-point analysis of Roy Singham's activities or search for other organizations that might be connected to his network? Let's delve into this. You think his ChatGPT that's like frying everyone's brains, by the way? Like if you use like ChatGPT, yeah, like they have a whole section on publicly funding organizations. Twitter's so stupid. Fox News is so stupid they couldn't even bother to Google Hassan's place of birth. They just assumed he was born in Turkey. Yeah. Like I genuinely don't understand. I said everything revealed is available on Wikipedia, but this Manhattan Institute weirdo paid the clip farm my stream, writes a sinister summary through ChatGPT, and every single moron on this website starts hallucinating that there's a comprehensive investigation and I'm snitching. This website is making everyone on it dumber and prone to hallucination. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's not good that this many people are this stupid.
Right now on a humanitarian aid mission, my goal here today is to bring awareness to what my government, the United States of America, has done to the Cuban population. One of the most ridiculous embargoes of all time that has only gotten more deadly as time has gone on.
The Treasury Department is now investigating Piker and Code Pink, who hosted his trip to Cuba. The feds are looking at funding for the trip, which some think is tied to the Chinese Communist Party. Also under scrutiny, American businessman and social activist Neville Roy Singham, who has donated to Code Pink in the past and has alleged ties to China through his business
they're literally
dealings.
trying to pull an Israel, but on China. It's so funny.
For now, nobody has been charged.
Yeah,
People have a right to be stupid and support socialism, okay? Despite
oh my God, they brought the Venezuelan guy.
What they don't have a right to is receive payment, and that is what the feds are investigating now. They haven't been charged with a crime. They're just checking if they have received any payment for the propaganda.
Piker says he has not yet received a subpoena from the U.S. government yet. Jillian?
All right, Lucas Tomlinson in the D.C. newsroom for us this afternoon. Thank you. So the feds say they expect Fidel Castro's brother, Raul, to show up here in the United States to face murder charges one way or another. Cuba is reportedly considering potential plans now for military drone strikes on U.S. territory.
Dude, I'm watching the outrage being manufactured in real time, and now I have become the outrage being manufactured in real time. How is this a reality? I feel like I'm living in a hyper reality. By the way, one-on-one with the Cuban foreign minister amid tensions with the U.S. I did this too, for the record. Okay, I talked to Carlos Cosio when I was in Cuba. It's in the documentary. And when I say it, when I'm like, yeah, of course I talked to members of the Cuban government, they literally go, oh my God, he's admitting a crime. Hey, dumb, that's not a crime. What are you talking about? Fox News is doing it right now. Just because you don't know what the laws are doesn't mean that there is a criminal component here. Okay? It's so stupid. I'm losing my mind. I bet it feels surreal for you, dude. I mean, I just don't even know what to say anymore. We live in an incredibly stupid version of reality that I never thought we would be living in. I never thought that it would get to a point where like the American government is trying to wage war once again with a much smaller country that is not hostile to the United States at all, that presents no real threat to the United States, even if it wanted to be hostile. Let's be real. Regardless of that reality, they're trying to actively wage war with this country after starving it for decades and contributing to the death and destruction of its economy and of its people. And as a part of like the consent manufacturing for waging war with Cuba, they've decided that the best possible way to do this is by tying China to Cuba by way of a Twitch streamer and an organization that does anti-war activism. It's incredibly stupid. If you scratch the surface of all of this, you realize like none of this is hidden, none of this is private, none of this is secretive at all. It's fairly out there in the open. It's protected by the First Amendment. Of course, people have different opinions than you do, right? Like, my opinions are my opinions. I feel the way that I feel. I think it's unconscionable that we're trying to kill Cubans. We're trying to go to war with Cuba. It's ridiculous. I don't think Americans want this either, for the record. And now they're like, oh, someone must have financially motivated these people to go out there and deliver humanitarian aid and do propaganda for the Cuban government. It's like, no, this is just my belief, dumb. It's so stupid. Regardless of this propaganda machine claiming that Americans can only feel this way about waging war with Cuba 90 miles off our coastline, instead of like negotiating with them, having some sort of diplomatic resolution to the situation in the way that the Obama administration did, normalize relations, normalize trade relations, make money, build Trump towers in Havana if necessary. Instead of doing that, like as though Americans would not be more on board with that, as opposed to just like waging unnecessary war once again and just like killing Cubans for no reason. They have no worldview whatsoever, no convictions, no ideological convictions whatsoever, no real opinions whatsoever. They can't even fathom someone having a perspective that's different than theirs without being paid for it through like nefarious schemes. We are now in the precipice of Red Scare 2, and it didn't take much for them to immediately kickstart the process. It did not take that much for them to kickstart the process of McCarthyite trials and Red Scare propaganda. They saw a couple Democratic Socialists of America backed candidates win, and immediately they were like, we have to kill these guys. That's crazy. Meanwhile, you got TikTok liberals championing this cause. You know what's really funny, though? If there was one guy who called this, who said this was going to happen, and I told you, like, free speech is only an amenity that you get. It's not this, like, inalienable right that is enshrined in the Constitution that will never change. If you recall, I told you, as America's power on the global stage is waning, when there are other superpowers that are growing, what did I tell you? I told you that America is going to drop the whole free speech nonsense. And you'll find out once again, very quickly, in short order, what the limitations of free speech truly are. If you recall, I told you this a couple years prior, and we're now in it. And I'm worried. When people say, oh, he seems shook, he seems terrified, they don't understand. I'm not just worried about myself. I don't give a fuck about myself. Clearly, I probably should care more about my safety and security, but I don't. I don't know what it is. I'm a stubborn guy. Maybe it's autism, whatever. I'm worried about the future of this country. I'm worried about the future of free speech in this country. I'm worried about what the administration is actively trying to do to silence dissent, to create sham trials, to make sure that there is a chilling effect on anyone that wants to engage in dissent against this administration. And that shouldn't just be worrisome to me. It shouldn't just be worrisome to all of you in this community. It should be worrisome to everyone. And I don't even just mean liberals. I mean Republicans too. It doesn't make any sense that there is a clear-cut, flagrant attempt to violate the First Amendment here. And all I see from liberals even that are supposed to be in the opposition party is cheering this on because they don't personally like me. Why Hassan Piker is the most important thing in the media. They're going to have Walter Masterson on because they don't think that he's being sarcastic. My plan for solving the housing crisis: 1, arrest Hassan Piker. 2, name every street after Charlie Kirk. 3, nationwide ban on 3 trans athletes that play volleyball. This is, by the way, I mean this genuinely. This is straight up going to be the midterm strategy for the Republican Party. And guess what? When you have a radical agenda that's not so radical, that is actually very appealing to the broadest masses, you can always turn around and say, hey man, I want to pay for Medicare for all. I want to make sure that everybody has health care. And your opposition will turn around and go, but what about Hassan Piker? What about Hassan Piker? Don't you think you should condemn a Twitch streamer? You look like an asshole. This is literally the Zoran method. It's not even the Zoran method. It's something that I've
wished for, begged for Democrats to do for years, and finally we have arrived. So of course I'm elated. Of course I'm excited to see it in action, because this is exactly what I kept talking about over and over again. If you have a bold policy platform that directly tackles some of the most important issues that are facing Americans, the American working class, and you keep saying, if you keep staying on message and you say, nope, we're going to do that, Medicare for all, money in your pockets, take the money away from Israel, take the money away from the defense contractors, and fix the goddamn healthcare system. Enough is enough. When you say that, and your opposition goes, well, what about trans people? Why won't you talk about the 3 trans people? Or your opposition turns around and says, like, well, what about a Twitch streamer? A Twitch streamer that's offended me, and that's far worse. It's like, dude, you're talking to a fucking future senator, big dog. I think he's got more important things to focus on. Do you see? Do you see how stupid this is? Do you see how wonderful it is when you actually have something to defend, when you actually have a platform to stand on? All of a sudden, your opposition looks silly, idiotic, worried about nonsensical bullshit that most Americans don't give a fuck about. Most Americans don't know who the fuck I am. Oh, it's so good. It's so good to watch it in action. It's like watching my theory of change play itself out in real time to glorious success. Oh my God. And meanwhile, once again, it's not even a joke. Fox News' midterm strategy is covering me. According to the Internet Archive, Fox News had the same number of May segments mentioning Hassan Piker as segments mentioning Jeffrey Epstein. You know how it goes? Once people hit the focus on button, they inevitably get outed as pedos or some other kind of freak. This means Fox and Republicans are going to hit the backlash of the focus on monkey's paw soon. Hopefully, inshallah. The problem is they've already been there, right? And it doesn't really matter. That's like the grand old pedophiles party, right? That's what the GOP stands for, as you know. What is this? Liberal influencers have been completely silent about Cuba and Palestine celebrating Trump for targeting Hassan. Israel First Congressman Randy Swine trying to criminalize American citizens for exercising their speech rights while this administration takes record amounts of foreign bribes is quite something.
Your thoughts on these latest allegations against Piker?
Well, both of these individuals are funded by overseas influencers that support terrorism. I mean, I have to deal with these Code Pink.
I'm funded by my audience, motherfucker. That's it. The only people that fund me is voluntary subscriptions that I get. I don't even run ads. I don't even have IP restrictions on my content, so other people that post my videos online can make money off of it. That's the Piker Broadcasting Service, motherfucker. Oh, they're getting paid by foreign influencers or foreign influences or whatever the fuck he was trying to say. Bull. I don't even get paid by American or Western corporations, let alone foreign governments. But of course, because these dipshits only know one speed, because they only know one reality, which is a reality where you can only take a position if you're getting paid to take said position, that they just assume, in the case of ultimate projection, other people don't have moral convictions either. Other people don't believe the things that they're saying either, because after all, Randy Fine doesn't believe half the shit that he advocates for.
Lunatics on Capitol Hill when they come around, and they shut up because I always demand that they tell me how much they're getting paid, and they don't want to answer that question. If they went to Cuba, if they interfered with our sanction policy, federal policy, they should go to jail. And in the case of Hassan Piker, I hope it goes one step further. He's from Turkey. I hope we denaturalize and we deport him and send him back.
Like, he knows that's not how this works. Like, not only is he just wrong, he's just lying and he's projecting, right? But that's not how this stuff works, man. Randy Swine, little piggy. That's not how this shit works. The fuck are you talking about?
They're not people who love America. These are not people that share American values. These are the enemy within, and we need to deal with them accordingly.
And yet the left seems so enamored with Piker. Why is that?
Because
you see, they're trying to use this clip for the subpoena. Cuba, would you be down? Old clip of Hassan Piker saying the Cuban government facilitated the infrastructure for him to stream from the country, effectively providing a basis for Hassan to arrest Piker as a foreign agent. That's not how this works, man.
I love Cuba.
Oh yeah, you'd be down?
Yeah, I filmed a
I think I
documentary
got,
there once.
The Cuban government actually hit my contact from the embassy and told him that if the only thing stopping Hassan from coming to Cuba was the consistent internet access, we can make it happen.
Yeah, Cuba is sick.
By the way, that literally didn't happen. Ironically enough, they were wrong about it, but it doesn't even matter. And once again, yes, dude,
this is not illegal. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Can you imagine this being illegal? Like, okay, I'm going to explain something to you guys. For example, I'm going to the UK. When I'm in the UK, I will probably hang out with Zach Polanski, the leader of the Green Party. Could you imagine if people were like, what do you mean? I don't understand. He's talking to a foreign politician ahead of a party. This is unbelievable. Like, that's what you sound like. None of this is illegal. As an American citizen, you can literally be in correspondence with individuals in another country. The American restrictions on this stuff are idiotic. I have a journalism visa. And what's really funny about it is that every single media outlet that goes to Cuba does this as well. CNN, Al Jazeera, ABC, Fox News, every goddamn American news outlet that has been to Cuba has done this. So a lot of people don't realize that. So they think, oh my God, there's like, this is illegal shit. This is illegal shit. That's what's going on here. It's clearly illegal. Brother, major Western outlets live broadcast from Iran while we are bombing Iran. What the are you talking about? It's so funny that they're like, nope, we got him. God, he's so stupid. He's like volunteering this information that he's doing crimes. How stupid can one be? I don't know if I'm the stupid one between you and I. I mean, look, the government might try to turn this into a criminal operation. It's very clear that they're trying to make it seem like there is wrongdoing in any of this because they're insane and they want to silence dissent. That's the ultimate goal here. But it's very stupid to be like, oh, well, this is a foreign agent. It's stupid as
Because much of the left hates America now. That's been the most disheartening thing about my year in Congress. 30 years ago, Republicans and Democrats had different ways to make America successful, but both sides loved America and wanted it to be successful. A large percentage of the Democrats who serve in Congress hate.
Yeah, I want America to be successful. You want Israel to be successful, you piece of shit. That's all you care about, dumb. I care about Americans. You care about whatever corporate donors sponsor your nonsense, and also Israel. That's it. Of course, the agent of the Israeli state that very openly and very consistently places the needs of Israel over the needs of Americans and certainly his constituents would assume that I must also be a foreign agent. Anyway, I think this guy misunderstood. Either there's a new oversight committee investigation that just got revealed and I haven't heard of it, or this guy's too stupid and doesn't understand that it's just a Treasury thing that he's like repeating.
Far left influencer Hassan Piker is facing a federal subpoena over a recent trip he took to Cuba with a group of fellow leftists. Piker and the co-founders of anti-war group Code Pink are caught up in a federal investigation into whether activists violated U.S. sanction laws on that trip and similar ones. It was billed as a humanitarian aid mission, but Piker and his fellow activists used the trip to openly promote the Cuban regime and protest the U.S. embargo. They say
What do you mean? None of this is illegal. What the f are you saying? Just because you want it to be illegal doesn't mean. It's so crazy. Like what? As an American citizen, I can't have an opinion on this idiotic embargo that's like devastating to Cuban life? What is happening, man? Did people get so stupid that they sincerely believe this? Or are they wish casting and other people are so dumb that they agree with the wish casting and think wish casting is the same as like what's actually taking place, right? It doesn't make any sense. Dog, if you get to speak before a House committee on live TV, you're about to become every wine mom and America's personal hero. We'll see.
luxury hotels, they met with communist officials, even as the island grapples with a deepening economic crisis. Piker, of course, blames that crisis on President Trump.
I'm here in Havana, Cuba right now on a humanitarian aid.
Yeah, I wonder why. I'm doing that. Because I have eyes and a brain, dude. Yeah, going on an aid mission and telling everyone this is your fault, you deserved is to be in compliance with U.S. law, which, by the way, isn't a U.S. law. There is restrictions on what you can and can't do. However, one of the restrictions is actually placed upon the American government by the motherfucking Constitution. And that is that the American government cannot stop an American citizen from believing the things that they believe and saying the things that they believe. It's called the First Motherfucking Amendment. I hope people are
I hope people are grasping what's taking place here, okay? Because the argument here is devastating. It's devastating and unconstitutional, and it's terrifying if implemented. Because the argument here is, if you have a different opinion than me on what you see with your own two eyes, what you experience with your heart, your soul, your brain, and you communicate that reality, then you should be criminally charged and punished. That is insane. And before people say, excuse me, and they're trying to get you on sanctions violations, like, yeah, dumb. They're not going to literally design a case that's so stupid that they're just going to be like, we don't like what he said about Cuba, so we're arresting him. Of course, they have to try to hold on to anything, no matter how stupid or silly it is.
My goal here today is to bring awareness to what my government, the United States of America, has done to the Cuban population. One of the most ridiculous embargoes of all time that has only gotten more deadly as time has gone on.
Piker claims he is not the target of the investigation. Instead, he says the feds are after prominent pro-China donor Neville Roy Singham. Quote, I think that ultimately the target is probably Singham in his operation from PSL to answer coalition to Code Pink, like anything that he has ever financed. Piker, Code Pink, and Singham did not respond to Fox Digital's request for comment.
Anyway, have they served you yet? No. They have yet to serve me. This literally sounds like they know they can't do anything. They're just trying to slander your name in the public eye. Yeah. Have you thought about dodging being served? No, I have not. I don't even know if that's a thing you can do. I'm fairly certain that might actually be illegal. And no, I'm just, I am where I am.